Hey, Dave, when you watch Julio today, I know he's struggled a little bit this month. What will you be looking for as far as him looking more like the way he did at the start of the season?
I think it's going to be him on the attack, and not just specifically with the fastball. I just think that with his entire mix, I expect him to be aggressive in the strike zone.
Dave, you guys have the second best record in the National League, and you haven't been healthy for the majority of it. Where would you assess where you guys are right now?
I think from a health standpoint, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Certainly getting better with some guys coming. I think as a team, I think we're doing okay. I think that offensively it's kind of sporadic. I think defensively we've been better than we were early in the year, and that's something that we need to be consistent with. On the pitching side, I think we've been very consistent.
What does that say where you haven't played your best baseball yet and you sit where you sit record-wise?
It speaks a lot to the guys in the clubhouse, the players, the coaches, the training staff, and just trying to stay above water, and I think that, and I've used reference holding serve, and I think that that's what good teams do, is that when things aren't always, lined up, you can still find ways to win baseball games. And we've done that at a pretty good clip, considering all things.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it, Dave.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, what have you seen from Cody these first few games back?
I see plus defense out there. He's playing every pitch defensively. He's made our overall defense better. I see good intent in the batter's box, staying in the strike zone, taking walks when given. And now it's just trying to, when he gets pitches in the strike zone, to, move him forward. So that just, I think that part of it is staying in the strike zone, and when you get balls in the strike zone, moving forward. So I think right now he's doing fine. I do expect him to continue to get better.
How encouraging was it last night? He took second base immediately when he got on base. And do you think, Mookie took second? I think Mookie stole a base last night too. Will you guys maybe try to do that a little more to get the offense going?
Well, I think with that particular pitcher, he tends to get slower in the delivery to execute a pitch. It was really good to see Cody be aggressive on the first pitch, and I do think that Mookie getting on base created something as far as for Max Muncy, the threat of being 2-0 to then have to throw a strike, but also stealing a base late. So, I think that in the right spot, it makes sense. And just having that dynamic part of our game is important.
And following up last night on Joe Kelly, you mentioned that he's Joseph now. Who came up with that? When did he make the transition to Joseph?
That was just a little, Joe came up with himself, and it's his alter ego, and it's the strike throwing person. So I joke with him all the time about it. And I like Joseph.
And he's been, great this month. I mean, at what point did you realize, okay, this is a guy maybe from the middle of 2019 that we've been looking for?
It was probably about 5 weeks ago. And ironically enough, I think it was maybe the start he came in and, or the outing he came in and gave up a homer on a breaking ball to right center field. But he was still throwing strikes, and I think his next one gave up another homer on a breaking ball. But from that point on, the strike throwing, the command of all three pitches has been really good.
Is there something to being effectively wild, or is that maybe overstated?
No, there's certainly something to that. I think that when you're a right-hand hitter in the box and he can throw a ball to the backstop and locate a fastball down and in or down and away. Being uncomfortable isn't good when the guy's throwing 99 miles an hour. So certainly advantage pitcher.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question is from Sarah Wexler. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. I'm just wondering if you've heard anything on Yoshi Tsutsugo's prognosis.
On whose prognosis?
Yoshi.
On Yoshi, so he's getting better each day. He's playing essentially every day. He's taking at bat. So each day is getting better. And again, I think that, in a week, I think that we'll evaluate as an organization where he's at physically and performance-wise.
And do you think he'll be coming back up here when he's ready, or what do you think the plan?
That's the hope. Once he's healthy and swinging well, that's the hope, certainly.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question's from Fabian Ardaya. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. Just sort of going back to Cody. I mean, how have you seen him mentally just handle this season and handle just sort of not trying to get all his numbers in like make up for the couple months just in the span of a week or so?
I think he's handling it extremely well and understands that his 4 at-bats a night is something that is certainly a value, but so is the defense. We have a lot of good players around him, and you can't get it all back in one night or 1 week. So I think that as he matures as a big league ball player, he's realized that. And so you certainly do look at the stat sheet or the scoreboard, and there's just still a lot of baseball, and we can look out here in a week and he puts together a good week and all the stat line lines up. So my encouragement to him is just go out there and play every pitch, by itself, offensively, defensively, and the numbers will be there, and we'll win a lot of games because of that.
Is that something you've maybe had to worry about with him in years past, or maybe that he wouldn't have handled as well if he was a little bit younger?
I wouldn't say worry, but I do think that was something that occupied his mind. And any young player that thinks otherwise, I just don't think is honest with themselves, because numbers do matter. But I think the more you play this game and you realize that you're consistent with your process and your work, the numbers will ultimately be there. But until you kind of live it year in and year out, it's hard to trust that. So I think all players are guilty of that, especially young players. Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question's from Buster Olney. Go ahead. Go ahead, Buster. Got a question from Eric Steven. Go ahead.
Dave, just checking in. Victor Gonzalez last night covering first. It looked a little awkward stretching to first. Anything happened with that? Is he okay?
He is okay. So nothing that I've heard from the training staff. Yeah. So thank you for asking, but I haven't heard anything, Eric.
And then with the pitching, you said it has been consistent. Is there any concern this week with just the sheer number of home runs allowed? Are you seeing any trends there?
I haven't seen any trends. I just think that, even obviously we keep giving up homers in the first inning, it seems like. But, last night it was Bryant's a pretty passive hitter, and Tony was trying to get ahead, and he was aggressive to the fastball and he hit it out. So I think, for the most part, it's just bad location. But I think in that sense right there, he got us, Bryant got us. But outside of that, Eric, I don't really see. We just got to keep making good pitches. That's all.
Thanks.
Yep.
We got another question from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, we haven't seen a lineup yet. Just wondering, are you guys waiting on anything, or just a matter?
No, it should be out. It's Smith, Muncy, McKinstry, Lux, Turner, Pollock, Bellinger, and Betts.
Oh, so no surprises or anything. Got it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, CT's at center. Oh, I'm sorry, CT's in center. Bellinger's down today. I'm sorry about that. CT's in center, Betts is in right. Bellinger 3 in a row, giving him today off, and then he'll play 3 in a row to get us to the off day.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks.